Hi, I'm Wes Allen with DM Tales, and today I'm going to be demonstrating how I build 3D maps in FoundryVTT using a couple of modules that work with the new overhead tokens feature in FoundryVTT 0.89. Let's roll it. Okay, so here I am on FoundryVTT. I have this scene, Building Demo 2, set up. Let me get the dimensions out. So it's just a 1000 by 1000. I have it as a 20 by 20 grid. It's set at 50 pixels because the building I'm going to create, I set on a much larger map in my actual play demo. Wanted to have it a little smaller so I could do this demonstration a lot quicker and have the frame rate be a lot better. So I just have a small grass background. It is set to 50 pixels as I said, and I just have my token vision unlimited range, so it's daylight basically, and it's just a basic thing. And I get this. So I have a nice grass background. There is a nice path that's coming up this way. And I am going to now create my levels. And I'm using 3 modules for this. Let's go bring that up. Module settings. So I am using for this the levels module, which actually creates the different levels that you can put tokens on. So if you open it up, there's a dialog where you actually can create the different levels according to height. So when you change your tokens altitude on their token dialog, you can actually throw them onto different levels. It's actually really interesting, really well done. And so that's kind of the basis of all this. It works in conjunction with the overhead tokens, which is just a way of saying you can have a foreground token you can walk under and it kind of goes transparent. So you can walk under trees and things like that. This does it a little bit differently. And going along with the levels module, I also have better roofs, which is a way that controls how roofs work in Foundry, and wall height, which actually allows me to change the dimensions of the wall. So if I want to have like a 3-foot tall fence, I can do that. So that's actually pretty cool. All these together work really well. I'm going to show you how I set up my scene. With the levels module installed and activated, you get this little icon here. So that's levels. Different functions for this, but I am going to be most interested in this top one, which is to open the levels dialog, which creates this dialog over here. And for me to get started, what I've found is helpful is I actually create all my levels beforehand, so I can just place tokens on them as I go. And so I'm going to create 4 levels for this, and I will edit them. We'll call this basement. And that's going to go from -1, so it's below ground level 0, to -10. And then we're going to go ground. That's going to go from 0 to 9. So you don't always go to 0 to 10 because there needs to be that separation between the different levels. Second, we'll just call that 2ND. That's going to go from 10 to 19. And then there's going to be roof, which is going to go from 20 to 29. And that actually will be a little bit different functionally when we put our roof on, but I'll show you that in a minute. Take the editing off. So now I have these levels that are set. I can actually put these in any arrangement that I want. The only things that matter are the numbers, not the actual placement in the order. And actually, let's rename that to ground so I don't screw that up later. So there we go. So first off, I'm going to put the ground floor on. So with ground selected, I'm going to go over to the tiles, and I'm going to select to open a tile. You can see I have new house here, and I have 4 tiles corresponding to the levels. This is ground floor, that is first floor, or second floor. This is the basement, and that is the roof. So let's get this over here, and I'm just going to drag this out, and I'm going to put it here, and you'll see it snaps to the grid. So when you're exporting from whatever you created in, you do want to make sure it matches the grid so it actually fits when you put it into the scene. You can see already over here I have 0 to 9, so this is on the first level. Now I'm going to click on the second level, and I am going to go to the second level, and we're going to drop that on in the same spot. 10 to 19 for that. We're going to go to the roof. Let's move this down. And we're going to throw this same place, line up the chimney, it'll drop in place. Now, I'm going to go to the ground really quick. And you can see now if I change my levels, it actually changes according to what's there. I'm going to go to the ground really quick, and I'm going to put the basement on, and I'll show you why, or I'll explain why first. If I went to the basement level, I would be underground. And at that point, if I put a token on, it'll just disappear behind the background layer because it's literally behind it. So there is a trick to this, and I am going to show you what it is, but this is how I construct my building. So let's go back to Foundry. So here's my basement. We're going to go to the ground level. So this is on a ground token right now, a ground tile. And I'm going to double click on that. I'm going to do two things. The first is, go to the overhead thing. I'm going to go and click is basement. So if you click is basement, what happens is it says that if this is a basement and someone goes onto the area where this tile is, it will make all other tiles disappear. That includes the background level. So that's really important. I put it on the ground so that when I drag it out, if I accidentally click off of it, it doesn't utterly disappear, because now I'm going to put it on the basement level. So when I get here, you can see how the top is currently 9 feet elevation. So I'm going to change that now to -10. And the height bottom is now -1, which matches the basement. I'm going to update the tile, see how it disappears. But I go to the basement and now there it is. So that's really nicely done. I have my basic setup all taken care of. Pretty cool. Not so fast. Got a few things we need to do. First, let's go to the roof. Let's go to the roof. Go to the overhead. So there's a couple things that we want to do here. First off, we want to make sure that this is shown through the fog, that it fades entire tile, and the height bottom, or excuse me, height top is now set to 29. And what will happen with this is that if I leave it like that, when a character comes out, it won't show up as a roof. It'll just show up in fog, except for the little bits that it can see. So I want to change that to infinity. We're going to update that tile. Hopefully that works. We're going to go to the second level. Don't need to change any height on that, but there's currently no walls. So let's go ahead and zoom in here just to make it nice. And I'm going to build some regular walls. One of the cool things with Foundry is if you are building a wall, if you're on Mac, you can hold down Command. I believe it is Control if you are on Windows. And you can draw connected walls. So if you didn't know that, that's pretty fun. I'm leaving these window areas open here. That'll come into play later. I'm not being too clean with this right now. This is just a quick demo. Take my Command key off, click that to close it, and now we'll change these to windows. Let's go to the ground floor. We're going to do the same thing, except we also have to put the door in, right? So hold my Control key down. There we go. So now I have my windows and my door on the first level. Let's go down to the basement. So you'll notice when I go to the basement level and try to put on the walls, the tile disappears. This is because when I set up the tile, I actually reversed the numbers for the height of that tile. I had the top as -10 and the bottom as -1, and so the levels module got confused. I fixed this a little later on, but I wanted to leave this in the video because I want to show you, you do have to pay attention to details as you are trying to set up your different levels. And let's go to the token and see how it looks. Perfect. Very good. So now I have my walls that are set for the different levels. Now I got to figure out how to get to the different levels. So I'm going to go to the ground floor. I am going to now go to the drawing and draw a rectangle. I have stairs there that are off grid, so bad me on the developing. And I'm going to put that there. We'll double click on it. We're going to go to text, and I'm just going to call this 2 second. So it's a little smaller, and go to the position. It is set as a levels drawing mode as stair. It has a height top of -11 and a height bottom of 0, which obviously is not what I want. I want to go 0 to 9, which is corresponding to the ground level. We're going to update that token. It'll throw that there. And also for the basement. And I'll show you how that works. So we're going to draw here. We'll just call this base. So it looks a little easier for me as the GM. And we're going to change this a little different. So the height top is going to be -1, and the height bottom is going to be -10. That corresponds to the basement layer. But we're going to change this to an elevator. And we're going to give it 2 floors. 0 ground, then a pipe, and -10 basement. So that corresponds to the names that are here and to the heights, the bottom height of each. Going to update that drawing, and what that will do is if I get to a point where I walk a token over that and it steps on it, it'll bring up a dialog asking which level you want to go to. So this is kind of nice if you're just doing movement. You don't want the characters suddenly to show up in the basement where they didn't intend. I just want to hop over that staircase. This way you can do that. So it's kind of nice. And let's see how everything works. I think I've got it all set up correctly. We'll have to see. So we're going to bring a couple tokens over here. Barret Thistlevine, and we'll bring out Garrett Bafford. So there we go for them. Let's hide this so we can just concentrate on the map. And they're on ground level. You can see 0, and see how the roof shows up? Really nice. He's on 0. But when you come near the roof, you're underneath the tile at that point. You can see in. If I open the door, you can see in the building. And you can look through windows. So that's really kind of cool. We go around and go to this. And it says, which floor do you want to go on? We're going to go down to the basement. And it disappears. Uh-oh. Let's see what happened. You can see it's a little finicky to get started. You have to have everything correct. So let me see what I did wrong here. Let's go to the building demo, and I want to go to the basement tile. Levels. Token. Overhead, fade entire tile, hide on vision. Max elevation difference, -1, -10 is basement, yes. I don't know. Oh, height top is -10. Hey, there we go. See how that works? You have to get everything finicky. And now actually I can see everything. Look, imagine that. There's Barret, basement. There's the basement. Of course, the walls are incorrect. So let's go and get the wall. Basement walls. I need to move them out. That should fix that. Now we're in the basement. Go back to the ground. There we go. Let's go to the ground and our tokens reappear. Barret is going to go into the building. So we've got a couple problems here. He can walk up the stairs, which is fine, but he's only partly up the stairs and there's a banister here, but I don't have any walls. So he actually can just kind of walk back and forth. We are going to fix that. So we're going to go to the ground and we are going to go to our walls, and I'm going to create, I could make a terrain wall, but I'm just going to make a regular wall. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to not have any restriction of vision. So we'll go, whoop, get rid of there, select my walls. There we go. A little premature. And we'll double click that. So essentially it'll treat it a lot like a window, but it will block movement and people will be able to still see what's on the level. We're going to go to the second floor, and of course we have to go the other direction. So let's go to the wall here, because that's now the top of the stairs. select these and we'll do the same thing. Yep. There we go. And now you can't step over the wall to get onto the level and just go willy-nilly however you want. A little more restriction. So he's on the second floor right now, and he's going to look out here. But he's seeing down onto the first floor, which is really cool. So let's go to the ground floor. We'll click this, and Garrett comes around, and he can actually see Beret up in the second level. The token size has changed because it's changed relative to their different heights. One of the things that people are hoping for is that the person who creates the levels module will change it so that if someone is higher up, their token will get bigger, and if they're lower down, they'll get smaller, kind of the way that we would think as we're looking overhead here. But right now it just stays as smaller, showing that they are in different levels. If I click on Beret here, it will automatically show the second level here. He's looking at the window, and he can actually target this character down here, or a creature, or whoever else is there. And that's really kind of cool. So that is rather interesting, and it helps make everything seamless. So this is one map. So I'm going to click here. He can look up, and he's going to go on the first floor, and he's going to go up the stairs, and there's Beret. They are now on the same level. If he goes down here, they are different levels. I'm not changing scenes. I'm not going to different maps. I don't have the different levels put at different sections of the map and teleporting people back and forth, which is the way people used to handle multi-level buildings inside Foundry. This is all just tokens on the same map, and it throws this different havoc into things as people are exploring buildings or they're having combat on a multi-story building. If you're at a second-story window, you can look down and start shooting people with arrows or cast a fireball at them. If you are on the bottom level, let me show this, second level here. This should work. Garrett comes around here. I'm going to go to the ground. Beret goes in the front. You can't see right here. Now, he should be able to look down the stairs and see where the other character is. There's a reason for this. You have to create another drawing that is called a hole. So I'm going to go to the ground level. I'm going to go to my drawing tools, and I am going to create another one that goes basically all the way here. So anybody is on these tiles, you can see up. And I'm going to make the hole go all the way up to the top of the second floor, which is 19 feet. So the bottom is 0, the top is 19. Let's see if that actually makes this work. Go to the second floor. Yep. This a little bug right now. He can see that Garrett's there, but he can't see Garrett for reasons why I don't understand. It might have something to do with the walls that are there. If I go on the first level, Garrett can look up and actually see Beret at the top of the stairs. So if Garrett's coming around the corner, he can look up the stairs and actually see that there's a rather large bugbear who's ready to run down the stairs at him, and he will realize that he needs to move. So that's kind of a big deal. So that's a little bit of a bug. I don't know why that's not allowing me to look down, but at least the name of the token, and you can see that there is someone there, does show up. So that's cool. So this is a lot of fun. Just to be able to build the different maps. You can see I'm still even learning how to use it, so I'm throwing this into my games judiciously at this point. Trying to do a quick demo here. I've hit a couple snags just because I forget things, so it takes a little practice to get used to. But once you get used to it, wow, you can do all sorts of cool things. You can hide creatures in a basement and have them pop out. You can have multi-story towers and have running battles going up and down. And you don't have to keep switching between scene after scene after scene to make sure that everybody's staying in sync. And you can target characters who are on literally different levels of the building, this is kind of cool. So now you have that 3D effect. I've seen people do really incredible things. I'm starting to play with it more for cityscapes and ships and things like that. And it really does add to the game. I don't know if I'm going to use this in every map that I make. I do use the overhead tiles so that people can, do things like walk under trees and, exist under the canopy. But it's really kind of nice to be able to go and see what people are creating in FoundryVTT with these modules. And I'm just scratching the surface. So if you're interested in trying to create a little bit more 3D action in your game, levels, wall height, and better roofs. These are really what you want to get. Next week, I am going to be talking about a monster book or a monster compendium that is system agnostic and allows the GM to really flavor these creatures the way that they want. Until then, happy playing, everyone.